Hi friends, today I would like to discuss another important concept from C language, that is files. Okay, what is a file? File is a collection of a larger amount of data that will store on secondary memory devices like a hard disk, like a magnetic disk, that is CDs, DVDs, pen drives and all those things. Okay, so what is the use of a files? Okay, we have seen that so there is a variable in C language. Okay, what's the use of a variable? Variable can store a single value. Then the concept comes the array. Okay, what do you mean by an array? Array is a collection of same data types. That means you can have n number of values under a single name. Okay, then comes the concept of the structures. Okay, structure is, what is a structure? Is a collection of different data types. Okay, so from the variables to the structures, so what we have done is we have increased the sizes of the data. That means variables can take a single value, arrays can take n number of values, but the restriction is all the values should be similar type, and structures can store different values, and here the restriction is you can store only up to some sizes, some 50 or 60 or whatever. Okay, so when you increase a array of structures size, so it is very something like difficult to handle those things. Okay, so in that case, if you want to store larger amount of data under a single name, it's better you go for the concept of a files. Okay, so the concept of files comes into the picture only when if you want to store a larger amount of data and still you want to do some kind of operations on the data. Okay, so that is the picture when this concept of files comes into the picture. Okay friends, then what is what are there are any types in the files? Okay, definitely there are two types in the files. Okay, so the files are divided into two categories. Okay, one is called binary file, another one is called textual files. Okay friends, so today's concept is the files. The files are of two types: binary files, textual files. Okay friends, so what do you mean by binary files? So binary files means all the information in the binary file will be in the form of ones and zeros only. So that means whatever the data, so you need to represent all the data in terms of ones and zeros. So that means if this is a file something like this. Okay, this is a file, so all the data in this particular file will be ones and zeros only. Okay, so everything should be in the ones and zeros only. So when you look at this particular file, you cannot know what is the contents in that file, because you have to decode that binary value into the textual format. Then only you can understand what are the contents of my binary files. Whereas coming to the textual files, okay, the name says itself. Okay, textual means that contains all human readable text. That means like English, like a concept values in the files. Okay, that means so if this is a file, okay, so here you can have all the readable sentences like hi, how are you, like that. Okay, so whatever the things that you want to put it in these textual files, that can be of like any normal sentences, like English like sentences, you can put all the data in terms of a textual form. So that is called textual files friends. So the files are of two types: binary files, textual files. Okay, on which particular files you can use this concept? Okay, so we basically work with the textual files because we cannot understand what is the contents of the binary files, so we don't go with the binary files. Okay, so if you want, you can do some kind of operations on the binary files, but most of the times we prefer to work with the textual files. Okay, so how you can do these textual files? Okay, what kind of operations you can perform on the files? Okay, so I'll tell you the operations that we can perform on the files. Okay, the type of the operations that we can perform on the files are, so one is called opening. Okay, opening or creating a file. So this is the basic operation we do with the files, that is you have to open a file or you have to create a file. Then reading, then writing, then appending, and finally closing file. Okay friends, these are the basic 5 operations that we can perform on the files. So what you can do is you can open an existing file or you can create a new file. Then you can read the whatever the contents in the file, okay, or you can write a new information into the file, okay. And fourth one is called appending. Okay, what do you mean by appending? How it is different from writing? So writing means your file will be newly created and you can enter data into the file. Appending means there is already some file is existing there and there is some information in that, so you can add extra information to the existing information. The previous contents are not deleted, so that is appending. Whereas for writing, so if there is a file and there is some information in that, when you try to write information into the already existing file, all the previous data will be deleted and whatever the data that you are now writing will be the data in the file. But for appending, all the previous data will be retained over there. That means it is not disturbed, it is not deleted, and your information will be added to the existing data. That is the appending, friends. Okay, so these are the basic operations. Then what is the closing a file? So whenever you want to work with a file and you have done some operations on the file, it's you have to close that file, okay. So that is the thing you need to perform by the end of the program. So you have to close all the opened files, okay. So closing of a file is very important, friends, okay. So what happens, okay, so I'll just tell you the concept of a files with some example, okay. So when you take the example of an office, okay, there will be so many files in the office, okay. How your files look like, okay, so there will be some kind of pads over there, like there will be, it's like a book or something like that, there will be pads. So there will be, so how the file looks like, okay, so that file will have a name on it, and inside the file you can put so many papers, okay. So and for example, if there are so many files, I'll try to write some name on that particular file, okay. So when you look at a file, so these are the things that you can notice, okay. What is that? So you can have a name on the file, you can have so many papers inside the file, okay. So if you want to work with the file, what you do, you'll go into the particular file, you'll pick that file, you open the file first, okay. So if you want to do any operation, first you need to open the file. Then what you do, you can read the data in the file or you can write data into it, or if you want to add extra information to the existing data, you can append the information to that, okay. So after finishing your work, what you do, you will close the file and put it over there, okay. So that are the things that we are talking about in this C language. You will open a file, you will read, write or append whatever you can do, then finally you need to close the file. Okay, what happens if the file is not closed? Okay, what happens if I didn't close my file in the office? Okay, there may be chance of so if there is some kind of someone, if there are some kids or something, they may tear your papers, or if there is some kind of a wind or something, your paper may blow out. Okay, so that means all the information in the file will be deleted, or that means be lost. Okay, so similarly happens in the C language. Okay, if you forget that closing of the file, so what happens is all the data in the files will be deleted. That means there will be data loss in your file. Okay, so that's why it's a precaution that you need to close the file by the end of the program. Okay, friends, so these are the basic files. Okay, friends, basic operations on the files, that is opening, reading, writing, appending and closing. Okay, so when you're talking about these particular files, okay, we talk about two things: how to access the information in the files. Okay, there are two types of accessing methods. Okay, file access methods. Okay, access methods. Okay, friends, so there are two types of accessing methods. One is called random access and another one is called sequential access. Okay, so I'll tell you that. Okay, so this is called a random access. Random access. And this one is a sequential access. Sequential access. Okay, friends, so there are two types of accessing methods: random access, sequential access. Okay, so just by looking at the names, you can easily find out what is that concept. Okay, so random access means if there are 10 elements in my file, you can go to any element without visiting the previous elements. That means if I want to go to the 10th element, directly I can go to the 10th element and access the value. If I want to go to the 5th element, directly I can go to the 5th element, I can access the value. Okay, friends, so there is no need to access all the previous values. But what is in sequential access? In sequential access, you have to visit all the previous elements when you want to go to a particular place. That means if there are 10 elements in my file. If I go to the fifth element, first I go to the first element, second element, third element, fourth element, then only you can go to the fifth element. That is the sequential access, friends. Okay, friends. So you can see that which accessing method is better. Okay, just by seeing the concept you can easily find it out. The random access method is the best one, because you can go to any particular location without any bothering. So but in sequential access you need to access all the previous elements, then you can go to the particular place. Okay, friends. So out of these two things we use the random access. So in files in C we use the random access most of the times. That means you can go to any place in your file whenever you want to access the information in the file. Okay, friends. Then I'll tell you about an important thing that is called file modes. Okay, or mode of operation. Mode of operation. Okay, friends. So this is another important concept from the files concept. You need to know this. What is a mode of a operation, or what is a mode of a file? Okay, so there are three modes. Okay, as I already told you that there is a read mode, and there is a write mode, and there is append mode. Okay, friends, append mode. So C files are working in three different modes. So read mode, write mode, append mode. For simplicity, they are represented with R, W, A. What do we mean by this? Read mode, write mode. So when I open a file in read mode, you can only perform reading. You cannot write information into that. Similarly, when I open a file with the write mode, you can only write information into that. You cannot read the data from the file. Similarly, when I use a append mode, you can add extra information to the existing data. That is, this is also one kind of a write. But what is the difference between write and append is, here the previous data is deleted and whatever the new data that you are entering, that is actually stored in the file. But here all the previous data will be there only, and you are adding extra data to that. That is called append mode. Okay, friends. So whenever I want to read some data, so I will open my file with the read mode. Okay, so you may be wonder that, okay, can we do both the things? That is, can I open a file and do reading and as well as writing? Yes, that is also possible. So for that they have got another three different modes. Okay, that is called, okay, so that is called R plus, W plus, A plus. Okay, remember friends, this is called R plus, W plus, A plus. So that means you can open a file in read mode as well as you can perform the write operation. So similarly, W plus means you can open the file in a write mode. You can also perform the read operation. So similarly, W plus A plus means you can open a file in append mode. Still you can read the contents. Okay, friends. So these are the different kinds of operations. So all these file modes are for the textual files. Okay, so this is for textual files. Okay, textual files. Okay, so if I am talking about binary files. So if you are talking about a binary files, so these will be something like RB, WB and AB. So this is for the binary files, friends. Okay. So if you want to do that, both the reading and writing, so they can be R plus B or W plus B and A plus B. Okay, friends, so this is for the binary files. Okay, so we basically most of the times we talk about the textual files, so we don't see these things, binary files. Okay, so just remember these three things, that is a read mode, write mode, append mode. Read plus write, append plus write, that is R plus, W plus, A plus. These are called three modes of operations. Okay, so when we use this particular mode, okay, so this mode of operation should be specified whenever you open a file. Okay, friends, so I'll come to the another next concept. Okay, that is how to work with a file. Okay, how to create a file. Okay, so I'll show you that. You can call this concept as a file creation or file declaration. Okay, how to create a file in your program. So for example, if this is my program, hash include stdio.h int main. Okay, so what is the first thing you have to do when you want to create a file in your program? So I have to use a special data structure called file. Remember friends, so this is a capital letter file. This is not a data type, okay? This is called a data structure. So I have to use this data structure called file, okay? And I need to create a pointer of a file type. That means a file pointer, I am giving a shortcut as a FP, that is file pointer. So file star FP is the first statement that you have to use in your program whenever you want to create a file. Okay friends, so what is this particular thing? So if you want to work with files, you can enter data into file, or you can read data from the file only through a file pointer. You need this pointer to communicate with your file. Okay, so how this FP will communicate with your file is, so that will be the next concept. Okay, so for that I have to use a function called fopen. Okay, fopen. So fopen is a function, okay, that will fopen is a function that will open my file for the reading or for writing, whatever. If you want to open a file, I have to use a file called fopen. So how that can be used? Okay, so the syntax for fopen will be, file pointer fp is equals to fopen, okay, file name, comma, double quotes, mode. This is the syntax of the fopen, friends. So just look at here. What you have to do is, a file pointer is equals to fopen. You have to specify the file name, then you have to specify the mode. Okay, so this file name, if this is a array variable, just simply you can write the name of the array. If this is a directly you are giving the name, you need to put it in a double quotes. That is both are the strings only. So this is a string 1, string 2. This is the name of the file. This is the mode of operation. So example for this will be fp is equals to fopen. Okay, if my file name is input, so I have to write it as input dot txt, textual file, comma, double quotes. So you have to specify the mode, that is read, write or append. So I am creating it as a read. Okay friends, so in this particular program, okay, so how you will do this is, you will use it as a fp is equals to fopen. Okay, so I want to create a file. Okay, so I will give the name of the file as something like this, new.txt. Then I will want to write information into it. I will take my mode as a w. Okay friends, so this is how you will do this. Okay, this is I am creating this a file, new file called new.txt in a write mode. Okay friends, so this is how you will do this. Okay, so what happens when I open a file new.txt? Okay, so I'll show you with some example figure. Okay, so here, okay, if this is the file, okay, if this is the file, okay, so that creates a file called new.txt. Okay friends, and there is a fp here, file pointer, which is a file structure type. So this will point to the first byte, okay, first byte of my file. Okay, so when you are newly creating this file, so the first byte will be EOF, that is a end of the file. Remember friends, in C language we use null, EOF, these kind of names. Okay, so this null is used to represent a null character, okay, that we have seen in the structures concept. This EOF, that means end of the file, end of file. This is a special value that is used in the files. Okay, then what is the use of this EOF? What is the use of null? Null will represent, that is the end of the string. Similarly, EOF will represent, this is the end of the file. That means there is no other information inside the file. So that will be the last character. Okay friends. So what happens? Okay, so when you do this is, FP will be open here and a new.txt file will be created with the write mode. And since I have just newly created my file, so there won't be any data in my file. So the first character will be EOF. EOF, that's it. Okay, so my file pointer will point to this. Okay, so whenever fopen is used, you need to check whether your file is created or opened or not. If you are taking the mode as a W mode, it will be newly created. If you take this as a read mode, already existing file will be opened. Okay, so but you need to check whether that file is opened or whether that file is created or not. For that we have to use a special condition called if fp double equals to null. That means if the file is not created, this will have a null value. That means there is no file here. The file is not created. So I will print here printf file creation error. File creation error. And I need to close my execution of the program. For that I can use a return -1, or you can use the exit function. Okay friends, remember friends, whenever you are using fopen function, you have to check whether your file is created or the file is opened or not. Okay, so for that you need to check fp value. If fp contains null, that means the file is not available, or if that means the file is not created, then you need to close the execution. That means you need to stop the execution, because you cannot continue further, because there is no file and you cannot do any operation. So I have used return -1, or I can use exit function. Exit, you can use exit function, or I can say exit, and there can be a special value called exit underscore failure. Exit underscore failure. Okay friends, so I'll show you that you can use this exit function as exit underscore failure. So this is a special function friends. So whenever this function is executed, your program is execution is abruptly closed and control goes to the operating system. That means your execution of your program is stopped. So that means, so this is how you have to check. If the file is successfully created, so this fp will successfully points to the first byte of your file. So there won't be any null value. So this will be false. So your program will continue its execution. Okay friends, so this is how this happens. What happens when you open a file. Okay, so I want to show you how to add information into the file. Okay, so you can add information to the file, like you will read data from the keyboard from the user, then you can paste that information into the file. Okay friends, I'll show you that. Okay, so I'm just removing this figure. Okay, so here what I will do here is, if I want to create a small, okay friends, so now I will write a small program that creates a file and puts information into that file. So hash include so what we are doing here is, okay, here we are doing so file star fp. So I am declaring this fp value. Okay friends, so what I want to input my values into that particular file. Okay, so for that you can take it as a char name with the size 20 and my enter roll number. Okay friends, so just I want to enter these two things. Okay, so my name and roll number into the file. Okay, so I have taken these two variables. Now I will open my file. So fp is equals to fopen. So what I am now doing is, I want to create my file. So I can give the name as something like new.txt. New.txt. Then I will write information into that. So I will take a w as my mode. Okay friends, so now I will check whether my file is created or not. So if fp double equals to null, if that is null, then I will say that p error. P error. You can use printf or p error friends. P error is another predefined function that will print the error on the screen. So I'm just, for the reference, I'm just using p error. So I'll say that file creation error. File creation error. So this is your file is not created. Then what you do, I'll simply exit my program. So exit on failure. So exit on failure. So this is one thing, or you can do simply return -1. So whatever you can use friends to close the execution of my program. Okay, so if my file is successfully created, what I'll do, so I'll ask for the things from the keyboard. So that means printf enter a name. So simply I'll read get as name here. Get as a name. So getters will read the name. Okay, so what you have to do now, you got the value from the keyboard, that is the name. Okay, so you need to pass that value to the file. So that can be performed with a special function called fprintf. fprintf. So fprintf is having this fp, then you will write it as a name equals to percentage yes. Okay, so here the name value should be written. Okay friends, so look at this fprintf. fprintf is a predefined library function that will print the data into the file. That means that will write data to the file. Similarly, I'll ask for printf enter a roll number. So then I will write it as a scanf percentage d address of a roll number, then again I use fprintf fp, then roll number is equals to percentage d, then roll number. Okay friends, so just you can see that I'm just entering my roll number into the file. Okay friends, so this is how you will do this. Okay, so after doing this, what you will do is fclose fp and return 0. Okay friends, just look at this particular program. Okay, you will have an idea. So how you create a file? I create a file with file star fp. That means I need a file pointer. Then I want to read a name and roll number. So I have taken two variables, name, roll number. Then what I am doing is, so if you want to create a file or if you want to open existing file, you have to use the fopen with the file name and mode. So here the file name is new.txt, then the mode will be the write mode because I want to create data. So that means the W mode. So whenever you open this file, you immediately you need to check this, whether that file is created or whether that file is opened or not. For that you have to use if fp equals to null. If that is true, that means the file is not created. So I'll say that a file creation error and I'll close the execution. If the file is successfully created, fp will get the starting address of my file. Then what I'm doing here is I'm asking for the name, reading the name, and by using a function called fprintf, I'm just pasting my name onto that file. Similarly, I'm asking for the roll number. I'm reading the roll number with the scanf. Then I'm printing that roll number onto the file. Okay friends. Then finally what you do, you have to close your file, though fclose fp. Then that is end of the program. Okay, so what happens when you execute this particular program? Okay friends, so when you are doing this, so when you are coming here, so there will be a new file will be opened here like this. So its name is new.txt, and there is a file pointer fp because you have created a file pointer. So this fopen function will open this file and sends the starting byte address to this fp. So that means this fp will point to the starting of the starting byte of your file. That means it will point to the file. Okay friends, so this is what happens here. So here what happens, this one is the address of this particular byte. That means if its address is some 20,000, fp will have a 20,000 here. So 20,000 equals to null, false. So we don't go there. So if this file is not created, fp will have a null value. Null equals to null means that is true. You will stop the execution when if the file is not created. But in this case the file is created, so there will be some address. Address equals to null means not equal. So the execution continues. So what you are doing now, it is asking for a enter a name. So I will enter my name as a Seenu. Okay, so name as Seenu. So what you are doing now, by using a function called fprintf, you are writing your name to the file. Okay, which file? So this inside fprintf, the first parameter will be the fp here. That means through fp I am storing my value, that is name equals to percentage s. Instead of percentage s, my name will get stored there. So that means here the data will be stored something like this. Name equals to whatever the name that I have entered, Seenu, and this will be the place for end of the file. So remember friends, end of the file always points to, always will be the last character in your file. So fp is always points to the next free location. Okay friends, remember friends, fp is moved from beginning to this particular place. Why? So fp means always points to the next available free memory. Okay, so this is the place where this particular end of the file goes. Daddy 5 minutes లో వస్తారు పద డాడీ మస్త్ ఆన్ చేయొచ్చమ్మా తీసుకెళ్ళి లిక్కి వెళ్ళరా అయిపోయింది 2 minutes గో లిక్కి వెళ్ళరా రే వెళ్ళరా స్నానం చేసా ఇల్లు నీకు జ్యూస్ ఇస్తా గో డాడీ నీకు జ్యూస్ ఓరియో జ్యూస్ కమ్ 2 minutes దా స్నానం చేసారా నా బాబు కమ్ మావుకిలే కమ్ దో Oreo milkshake come, Babu.
No.
Da, Babu, please. Please, da. Okay friends, so what happens is my name will be stored here. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, then remember friends, file pointer always points to the next free location. So then what is the next free location? So I have, after entering my name Seenu here, my file pointer will be here. So what is the character here? This is a EOF. So what is happening exactly here is, okay, at the beginning what is here, this is a EOF was here, end of the file, and my FP was here. So what is, when the fprintf function is executing, so what is happening is, when this is a NAME is written, so this EOF is slowly moving towards right. Okay, it is slowly moving towards right. So similarly, when I enter name equals to Seenu, it's slowly moving from here and it will be placed here, and my file pointer always goes to the EOF. That means it is always points to the next free location. Okay, what will be the size of the file? That is unlimited. You can enter whatever the data, how much data you want to enter, you can enter all the data to the file. There is no size limit, because we have already told you that the files are stored on the secondary memory, that is a hard disk. So hard disk means there will be huge amount of data, is a huge amount of place is available for you. So you can enter how much, whatever the data that you can enter into that particular place. Okay, so then what I am doing now, I am asking for enter your roll number. I have entered roll number as a 708. Then this printf statement will send that data here. That means this EOF will be slowly moved there. So there will be roll number equals to 708, and this is the place of the end of the file. Okay friends, so this is how this particular file pointer is always moves and goes to the next free available memory. So this is how your small file is created and the data is entered into the file. Okay friends, so if you want to see this particular file contents, okay, so in Turbo you can use it as a Turbo C++, you can use it as a, so you can open this new.txt, you can open this in the file option, open. Okay, so you can see this data available. I'll show it in the execution part. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, so your file is created and you can see your data, that is name equals to Seenu, roll number is equal to 708. So that is how you can create a small file and you can enter data into that file friends. Okay, okay, with this particular concept, okay, so I want to extend this particular concept to the next level. Okay, so what I am doing now is, okay, so I will do one thing. Okay, so I will change this files mode as a W plus. So what do you mean by this W plus? That means you can write and as well as read. We have already told you that W plus is a mode where you can write and as well as read the data. Okay friends, so assume that I have entered all the data. Okay, all the data, I have successfully entered my name, I have successfully entered my roll number. Okay friends, so what I will do now is, okay, I'm just erasing here. Okay, this thing for the clarity. Okay, so after entering here, this FP is pointing here. Okay friends, so what I'll do now is, if I want to read the data, now you cannot read the data. Because why you cannot read the data? Because my file pointer is at the end of the file, at the last location. So if I want to read my data, that is name equals to Seenu, roll number is 708, I need to move my file pointer from the last position to the beginning. So how you move a file pointer from the last position to beginning? Okay friends, so if this is at this place, I want to move here. Okay, how you do that? For that there is a function called rewind. So rewind and FP. So if you use this rewind FP, your file pointer is successfully moved from last position to the beginning. Okay, then you can read all the data. Okay, how I can read the data? Okay friends, now how I can read the data? Okay, so that can be read by using a simple variable. So along with the roll number, I will take a variable of character type, character CH. So you have to declare a variable of character CH. Okay friends, so then how I will do that? So I use a while loop here. While I'll do this get char of FP. So what is this? Get char is a function that will read a single character. From where? From the file pointer. Where my file pointer is at the beginning of the file. So that means now this looks like this. So now this will be like this only. Okay, so my file pointer is pointing to the first place. Okay friends, so my file pointer is now pointing to the first character in my file. Okay, so here what is this? Get char FP means whatever the character that is n, that is get into the value ch. I'll check whether that is a character or end of the file. Because if my file is empty, I cannot go further. So I have to check whether that is a normal character or file pointer. So what I'll do here is I'll put it in a parenthesis and check that if this is not equals to EOF. Okay friends, so just see this. Inside while I am using CH is equals to get char FP to read the character, and that character is compared with the end of the file. If that is not equals to end of the file, then what I'll do? Printf percentage C, okay, CH, percentage C, CH. So this printf statement will print my character on the screen, because printf is the function that prints whatever the information in on the screen. So I'm just closing it. So this while loop will read all the characters. That means N, A, M, E equals to Seenu. That means it will print all the things. Name equals to Seenu. Then roll number equals to 708 on the screen. Okay, then I'll close FP. Then close the program, return 0. Okay friends, so what we have done here is we have created a file, we successfully entered information into the file, then we brought the file pointer to the beginning, then we print all the characters on the screen. Okay friends, so this is an introduction about the files, how to create a file, how to enter data, how to read the data from the file. Okay friends, so this is manually seeing that is if you open a file and you can manually see it, but here we have printed all the data, and that means we have read all the data and printed on the screen. So I'll show you this in the execution part. Okay, this is the introduction of the files friends. Thank you.
Hi friends, today I would like to show you the execution of the file introduction. Okay, so that is how to create a file, okay, then how to enter data into the file, then how to read the data from the file. Okay, so from the theory that we have discussed in the class, okay, so this is the execution part. Okay, so here, so what we have written in this particular code is we have included stdiver.h, and here I have included another header file called stdlib.h. okay, so why I have included this stdlib.h is because I want to use a predefined value, a macro value, that is exit underscore failure. Okay, so this exit underscore failure is actually available in this header file, that is stdlib.h. so for that we have included this header file also. Okay, so coming to this, so in the main function, so the first thing we have to do is we have to declare a file pointer, that is fp. Okay, here you can see that we have declared a file pointer fp of a file type. Okay, here the file is a file structure. Okay, so we have already discussed in the theory part, that is a file is a data structure. Okay, fp is a file pointer. Okay, so here I want to read my name and roll number. So for that, for reading the name, we have declared a string, that is a character array. Then for reading the roll number, we have declared an integer value, that is a roll number. Okay, so this is for clear screen. Okay, so what we have to do, the first we have to open the file. Okay, so for that we have to use a function called fopen. So we have to write it as fp equals to fopen. Then fopen function is having two parameters. One is a file name, another one is the mode. That means whether you want to what kind of operation you want to do, that is whether you want to write information, whether you want to read the information, or if you want to append the information. So for this application we are creating the file, so that means we have to use the mode called w. So writing means creation. Okay, so then we have to check whether my file is actually created or not. Okay, so for that I have to check whether fp equals to null. Okay, so if fp equals to null, that means the file is not created. Okay, so in that case I will say that file creation error, and I want to stop the execution because I cannot further continue because my file is not created. So that can be performed with this exit function. So exit function will be executed, and this status exit underscore failure will be given to the operating system. Okay, so this will be only when the file is not created. Okay, if the file is successfully created, in that case fp will contain the address of the first byte of the file. Okay, so in that case the address is not equals to null, so we never execute this if condition if a file is created. Okay, and coming here, so we are asking for enter your name. Okay, then we are reading that name with getS function. Okay, why I am using this getS function is to read the strings with spaces. Okay, so if I use a scanf function, that cannot read strings with spaces, so that's why I want to use this getS function. Okay, so here what I am doing is with the fprintf function I am writing my name into the file. Okay, so how I can write by using this fprintf function, there is a three parameters in this fprintf function. First is the file pointer fp, second one is the string that I want to write into that is name equals to percentages. So in this place of percentages, my name will be written into that file. Okay, so that is that. Then I am again asking to enter the roll number. I am reading the roll number from keyboard. Then I am again writing this roll number to my file. Okay, then I am closing my file. Okay, so this getch is used because I don't want to type file alt F5 to see my output. Okay, so I want to see as soon as I enter my values, I want to see my output. Okay, so in turbo C2 or turbo C3 that is not available. Okay, so you want to use this getch. Okay, so getch is not related to this program or logic, friends, so that is used only to see my output screen without typing alt F5. So that is the reason. Okay, so this is the program. Okay, now we will go to execution part. Okay, I'll execute this. Okay, so no errors. So it is asking me for my name, so I'm entering my name. Then it is asking me for my roll number. Okay, 708. Okay, so that's it, friends. Yeah, so my file is actually created and my data is actually put into that file. Okay, then how can I see whether my file is created or not, or whether my data is entered into that file or not? Okay, so for that in turbo C2 you have to do this. Okay, so here you have to open that file. Okay, you have to open this. Okay, so what is the name that you have given in the fopen function? In the fopen function I have given the name of my file as a new.txt. so I will type that name new.txt. Okay, so you can clearly see here that is name equals to Seenu and the roll number is 708. Okay, friends, so this is actually written by my file pointer. Okay, when I entered my values and my printf statements, they came here and they write the information into this file called new.txt. Okay, friends, so this is a how to create your file. Okay, so I have told you that so how to create a file, and without going to that file, so I want to show you that how to display the contents of the file in the program itself. Okay, so in the first part what we have done is we have created the file, we put the information. For checking the values we have manually went to that program, that is we have manually opened the file new.txt and we have seen whether the file is containing information or not. Okay, so the second part is I want to change this program so that I want to print the contents of file on the screen itself. Okay friends, so for that what I want to take, okay, so I have already told you that I have to take a variable of character type, so char ch, okay, and here I want to perform reading also, so I should make the mode as a W plus, because this will allow you to do both writing and as well as reading. Okay, so that is another change that I want to perform here. Okay, so coming here, okay, so after writing the data, so what I want to do, so my file pointer will go to the last byte, or that is end of the file. So for reading the values I should bring my file pointer to the beginning of my file. So that can be performed with a predefined function called rewind. Okay, so I have already told you in the theory part friends. So rewind. So how to write this rewind is, so rewind in the parenthesis you need to write the file pointer. So that means that will take your file pointer to the beginning of the file friends. Okay, so that is taking to that. Okay, then what I want to do, okay, so I need to read each and every character from the file and want to print on the output screen. Okay, so for that I have to use a while loop. Okay, while. So in this while, so what I am doing here is so ch equals to f gets, okay friends, so this is a small change I have made here, because in the theory part I have told you about the getChar function. Okay, so getChar function is used to read character from the keyboard friends. So here I want to read the characters from the file, so I have to use the fgetc function. Okay, so I am using this fgetc function and with the file pointer fp. Okay friends, so this is how you have to use this. Okay, so ch equals to fgetc of fp. Okay, then what you have to do is, so you have to check whether that character is not equals to end of the files, then only you can further proceed friends. Okay, so for that, so I have to do this. Okay, so what I have to do here is, so here you have to do this. Okay, so what is this is, so here if that is not equals to, okay, end of the file friends. Okay, end of the file. Okay, so then I print that. Okay, so printf, so this printf will print your character on the output screen. Okay friends, so from where does it take those characters? From the file it will read the characters into ch, then we are printing the characters on the screen friends. Okay, so this is how you have to execute it friends. Okay, so let me check this. Okay, so whether there are any errors or something. Okay, I'm just saving my program and executing my program. Okay, so no errors. It is asking me for the name. Okay, so I'm entering my name Seenu, and again it's asking for the roll number. I'm entering it as a 708 friends. Okay, so you can see here friends, so all the contents of the file is actually read by your file pointer into the character variable ch, and each and every character is printed on the screen. So you can see the contents of that file new.txt, that is name equals to Seenu, roll number is 708 on the screen friends. Okay. Okay friends, so this is the execution part friends. Okay, all you have to remember is how to write that fopen function, how to use fclose, then how to use a rewind function. Okay, then how to write this while loop. Okay, so in while loop we have used the fgetc function to read the characters from file, so that should be written as ch equals to fgetc of fp, not equals to end of the file. Okay friends, so hope you understand the concept friends. So this is how to create a file, enter data into the file, then later reading the data from the file and printing on the screen friends. Okay, thank you.